All right, troops, welcome to the War Room. My name is Owen. We got a big show for you tonight because I got so many people. I'm going to have to add you all individually. And tonight we're going to be talking about Invasion USA, starring Chuck Norris, the absolute canon classic that it is. So first off, welcome to G-Man. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm awesome, thank you. So next up is Charlie Chase from Give Me Back My Action Movies. How are you, Charlie?
What's happening? I'm doing great, guys.
Awesome. And big welcome back to John Jerva from Action Flicks. How are you?
Hello, how you guys doing?
Good.
Well, good.
Good to be back.
Yes, it's great to have you back. Next up is Franklin. How are you now? Can you hear us okay, Franklin? No. No? Nothing? No? Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully you can get the audio fixed soon. And so we're going to be talking Invasion USA, starring Chuck Norris. So, J-Man, I'm going to go over to you because I really like the format we started doing last week with Double Team. If you could explain to everybody how the space system works, and then we're going to go into the movie.
Okay. So yeah, every movie gets a score out of 10 or 5. Usually, that's how people review movies. So about a decade or more ago, I came up with this idea of like, how do we reach that? And I discovered that, we're always talking about the pacing, the artistry, character, story, that kind of a thing. So I actually sort of created this thing called SPACE, SPACE. So it's story, pacing, artistry, characters, and enjoyment. And each category gets a score out of 2. So the way it would work is that if you liked the story, and you thought it was just okay, you give it a 1 out of 2. If you thought the story was fantastic, you give it a 2 out of 2. If you thought the story was crappy, you give it a 0. So 0, 1, or 2. At the end, when you add all that up in each category, you get a score out of 10. And you could do 0.5s. Like you could do story as 1.5 if you thought it's a little bit better than average, but not fully amazing. And each category is marked sort of based on its own merits and also against the movie itself. And what I mean by the movie itself is that Invasion USA is not being compared to Lawrence of Arabia or Citizen Kane or whatever, right? Like as an example, I always say, to me, Army of Darkness is 10 out of 10 and Lawrence of Arabia is 10 out of 10. But how can that be? Well, using this method, you can achieve that because every movie is a promise, is what I say. So Invasion USA is a promise that Chuck Norris is going to be awesome in this movie. He's going to kick ass. He's going to beat up the bad guys. The bad guys are going to be evil scumbags. We want to see them get beat. Now we're going to score this movie on these categories, how well it achieved that promise, right? Yeah. So a 10 out of 10, great action movie might not be ranked the same with other people when they rank it against dramas, but we're not doing that. We can rank it against other Chuck Norris films. We can compare that way, obviously, because it's sort of one kind of genre, like onto itself. So, and I can explain the categories as we go through it, what they include. But the first one is story, so it's pretty simple. Like you either thought it was a crappy story, so it's 0. A good story, that's a 1. A great story is a 2. And then you kind of explain how you got to your rating, and then we do that for each category, and I'll explain them as we go.
Makes sense.
Sounds good.
Simple. Yeah. I like it.
Cool.
Okay. Now, Franklin, did you hear any of that?
I didn't hear a goddamn word.
Excellent. Okay.
That's okay. We'll clue them in as we go. It's not too bad. It's not too complicated.
Yeah.
We're not getting graded on this. It's our grade. So
yeah. You're great. You're doing the grading, and I got my little board here to keep track of everybody's score.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, in case for some reason nobody knows the story, I will read the story of Invasion USA. So, retired CIA agent Matt Hunter, Chuck Norris, is forced back into the business when a villain from his past reemerges. Soviet Mikhail Rostov, Richard Lynch, a terrorist from whom Matt once caught, wants to exact revenge. After failing to find Matt at his Everglades home, Rostov and his army of communist guerrillas begin carrying out terrorist acts all over southern Florida. Millions of innocent lives are at risk, and it's up to Matt, the National Guard, and the FBI to save them.
There you go.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, J-Man, do you want to start? Or
yeah, I'll start. Yeah. So So what I'm looking at here is that this is, as Owen explained it, the story to me, it would be a basic storyline. Some people would grade this as a bad story or whatever, but bad is relative, right? This is an action film. This is what I'm expecting. Did the story give me any more than I'm expecting? I'm going to say no. It gave me what I expected. So I'm going to give it a 1 out of 2, which is to say that I'm very happy with it. It's good. I don't think it got to that great level because it did do a couple of things where I almost did 1.5 just for a couple of really interesting things, and the bad guy being so crazy. But that we'll discuss Rostov in the characters section of Space. Just overall story. Look, it's basic. This is the exact kind of basic story that we want. It's really action based. It's not. This isn't a character based piece, really. To some extent, maybe with Rostov a little bit, but it is a plot driven movie. And it's basic, but that's okay. The villains are bad. You hate them. The good guys are the good guys. It's very clear. There's no gray area. The story isn't really elevated in any other way other than just like, if you like Chuck Norris, you're just like, yeah, you're rooting for him to win. There's not really much to say in the story department. It's canon. But I'm not grading it low because it did deliver what it promised in that synopsis. That is what you got. So I'm going to give it a 1. And I think that's very fair because it did deliver on the promise in the story department. So.
Mm. Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you there. It's going to be 1.5 for me because any movie which opens with a shocking massacre that this movie does, it's a real attention grabber. And I, even just when I was watching it the other day, I hadn't watched it for a while, and I was like, you actually forget just how violent the movie is. Like, it's like really like shockingly violent. I mean, Rostov shoots people in the dick for crying out loud. I mean,
that's his go-to move.
Yeah, I think that's not okay, Rostov. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of sort of high concept, although is it really? You look at what's on the news just now, so the world needs Chuck Norris more than ever. But we're not getting into that here. But yeah, I mean, the story may be sort of a high concept, but that's why it works. I think it's funny how Matt Hunter, Chuck Norris, can miraculously appear anywhere where the terrorists seem to be. There's like there's always there, no matter how. There's no logic. Just like da-da. And I was
he's Batman. He's Batman.
Yeah.
That's what he is in this movie.
He's everywhere and nowhere.
So he's here. Hold on, where's my camera? He's here.
Hey.
I've got that too. I've got that figure too. Yeah. Complete with all accessories.
Okay, I don't have it complete. I'm sorry. But I got his twin, but he's seen battle damage.
Oh, I don't like
So yeah, for me it gets 1.5 because it's ballsy. It's like, I guess it's ridiculous, but I mean, they attack a neighborhood at Christmas. They blow up houses and everything. And there's so many holy shit moments in this movie that's why I think it really sort of stands out. Is it crazy? Yeah, but that's why it's great. So 1.5 for me. So Charlie, you.
You made excellent points. J-Man makes excellent points because if I'm going to go off Teenage Charlie when I watch this is the most badass movie ever.
Right.
Ever. I don't care about story. People die. People blow up. Stuntmen got hurt. I guarantee it. But now older, I'm going, and now I know there was story to this movie and it got cut. They went, no story, take it out, give us all the action. So I want to ding them for that a little bit because I feel like maybe it could have even been elevated more with a decent story behind it. So I'm going to go with J-Man on this and go 1. There's other things that'll bump this movie up. Don't worry. We'll get up there to the high numbers this movie deserves. But yeah, I feel like just because I know they wrote it, they probably even filmed some stuff and they just went, nah, throw it on the cutting room floor. Action, 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 action. And I love it for that, but 1 for story.
Okay. Over to you, John.
So I can look at this a couple of different ways. If 12-year-old me, it would have been a 2, like everybody says, because this is a very important film for me because this is the first R-rated movie my dad took me to when I was a kid, and he said, if this movie is bad, we're not going to see any more of these. And then when we left the theater, he was like, when's that come out on home video? And I'm like, yes. So Yeah, 12-year-old, it's a 2. Now, I could go 1 for the simple fact that it's a generic story. Yes, it is. Bad guys invade the USA. It's like Red Dawn on steroids. This is what Red Dawn should have been. Red Dawn was more story, which is fine. But this is like Charlie was saying, they did take a lot of the plot out and a lot of the characters out of it. And for nostalgia fact, I'm going to go 1.5. So it's a 1 story, but because it's such an important film for me, I'm bumping it up to a 1.5.
That's fair, man. You don't have to explain that. We get it.
I was close. I wanted. Owen said a lot of stuff. It's like there's things that stick with you, right? Like,
yes.
But I'm gonna give. Well, when we get to that category, I'll talk about.
Well, like I said, what if it was 1985 and you said, okay, you can only rate this out of 2, I would have given it a 10. I was like, no, it's a 10. Yeah. It's a 10. It's
yeah. No, I like I said, I don't think any of us are wrong on this. I look at things like the movie ended, so apparently the invasion stopped. There's nothing else to tell me what happened.
Yeah.
Where did anything go? Like all the bad guys threw their guns down and said, I quit.
Yeah. and that's going to come up right in the next category.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, Franklin seems to have gone. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue because his connection doesn't seem great. So it looks like it's just the 4 of us for now. I'm keeping an eye, so if he comes back, we'll add him back in.
No, it's fine.
So all right, so we'll move on to the next one. So Jay, over to you.
Okay, so so the pacing. So here's where now we're trying to figure out, does the pacing work for an action film, right? Like if you were doing a drama, you would want it to be slightly longer because you want to get to know the characters more, because it'll give more of an impact to what happens to the characters if you know them more and you like them more.
Yeah.
Action movies need to be a little bit tighter pacing, right? Like Die Hard, I would say, is perfectly paced. At no point in time am I ever thinking, why is this scene continuing on? Or let's move to the next scene. I'm never thinking that in Die Hard. So I don't know how long Die Hard is. Let's say 100 minutes or whatever. Yeah. It's perfect. This movie probably could have served to be slightly longer, if that even makes any, only because of what Charlie just mentioned, which is like, it's sort of Rostov is dispatched and you're like, okay, what the hell? Like there was like, where's everybody? Like he's not like, okay, the head is cut off, but this snake has a lot of moves. It's still moving around. And I do feel that some parts meander a little bit, where they almost could have cut some of that stuff out and added more to the ending of what was going on and maybe a couple of bits of story. However, I was never bored in this movie, so that tells me that they did do a pretty good job on pacing. But because I almost feel that a couple of scenes could have been trimmed and we could have added a couple of other scenes to help fill in the story a bit, I'm still going to give this a 1. Just for those reasons. I almost feel like, whoa, this, like, the ending is bloody incredibly fantastic, and we'll get to that in the artistry department because I think this is an artistry thing. But for just the pacing, I feel that some parts could have been cut out to add, to the story and to add to the ending. So I'm giving it a 1, which still means it's good. I was never bored. It's not like I'm like, oh, what's going on, but it's not the perfect Die Hard, like, pacing.
Right.
Actually, for me, pacing gets a 2
Awesome.
because, Nicky says to him at one point, and he says, the men are nothing without you. He says, if you don't continue, they're not going to continue on. So once Rostov's dead, it's gone. So all of the leaders were gone. So without the leadership, then there's nothing left. And everyone had basically gathered for that incredible final battle at the end. And, they were facing the army and, they just didn't stand a chance. So for me, it was kind of perfect that way, and nothing bothered me. I was never bored. It's a Chuck Norris movie. I don't require much story or whatever else, because let's face it, he's not much of an actor. So it doesn't require any emotional depth that way or anything like that. It was totally unsentimental. It just ends. He blows Rostov up. The end. So for me, pacing, it's a solid 2. So,
Awesome.
Charlie.
I think I'm going to have to agree with Eon on this, because pacing wise, I never got bored whatsoever. I got enough story about Chuck's character at the beginning, because that's about the only thing we get story wise is Chuck in the bayou doing his day to day. He has a pet armadillo.
Yeah, he has
That's
a pet
all I need to
armadillo.
know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's all I need to know now. I am in with this character. And then it was okay, action, no bullshit, action, no bullshit, act, and just on and on and on. So I'm not going to ding it as far as story wise. And the only thing I'll bring up is where we're talking about with everything ending. What bugged me the most was the movie. They kept referencing this is happening across the nation. They say that like 2 or 3 times in the movie. And I'm like, I thought we were only in Florida. These guys came on landing, ships. You're talking like this is happening everywhere. And I think something got lost there, which could have been something that they cut and put on the cutting room floor. But pacing, 2. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I mean, if the film was 10 or 15 minutes longer, I wouldn't have complained.
No.
I mean, you get those like superhero movies, which are like 3 hours these days, and they shouldn't be that long. So, I'd be quite happy for this to be, even if it was like 2 hours, that would be great. You could have added more in. You could have actually done more with the character of even Mickey, who I thought, didn't really have enough to do. But anyway, on to John.
I'm gonna agree with you, Owen. Like when we talk pace, because I've written a bunch of reviews lately where I talk about pacing and like how things lag. This movie never lags, and that's what pacing is. Now, is there more story development needed? Probably. And like I said, we all said that the ending is the ending, and it's the best ending ever, by the way.
It is. No, we're not arguing
that. I watched it again today. You texted me when we said it's on. I'm like, oh crap, I got to watch it again to get it back fresh in my mind. Not that I had to. I've seen this movie 1,000 times, but I got to give it a 2. It's a 2 for pacing. Like I said, does it lack character development? Yeah, the reporter is useless. She's like in 3 scenes with him.
Yeah,
and
why
it's
is she
like
even there?
they kind of have like this kind of thing going, but yet then at the end he's just like, "Hey, how's it going? How's the fight going?" She's like, "Maybe I should ask you." And they're like, "Yeah, see her out." So it's like, okay, bye. So she's completely useless, but I don't care because I don't care about her. So it's all action, and like I said, I did read where they took out a lot of plot elements of the movie, and they just wanted to make it Chuck Norris in action, which when you're 12 years old, once again, that's all you're paying to see. And for me, it's a total 2 across the board when it comes to pacing, because this is nonstop action, and like Owen showing up everywhere. It's just like he miraculously appears like he comes out of a vortex, and it's just like, I'm here to kill terrorists and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. So
Love it.
Awesome.
Okay, over to you again, G.
Okay, so artistry. So this is okay. So artistry doesn't just mean is like effects or whatever. It means everything. Film is visual, so it's going to be like camera movements, even costuming would count, music, just the way things are shot and the way things look. It's not just like, oh, this had no effects or this had whatever. Like gore would matter. Like, when someone gets killed, does it look cool? So it's everything to do with the art of making a film. I'm giving this one a 2 out of 2, and I can tell you why. The reasoning behind it getting perfect for me is that, again, we're not comparing this to Lord of the Rings, right? Look, this movie gave a lot of good gore. There's a great shots. Like once they destroy, like when they drive into that small little neighborhood and they blow everything up.
Yeah.
They don't just blow stuff up. Normally what would happen in these kind of lower budget, right, action films, stuff would blow up and then that'd be that. And you always got the sense in your head that they blew up some little model or something or whatever they did, right? But in this one, they're blowing stuff up, and when they drive away, the camera actually goes back and pans, and it's showing you all of the destruction in like one like kind of take, and there's people running around, and you're like, whoa, someone really took the time to sort of like put this together, because there's people still going, and there's the woman grabbing her daughter. Like they don't need to show that. They could have just showed it getting blown up, but your mind would have known that it's just cut scenes of things getting blown up. But here, when they pan back, you're like, whoa, they really destroyed a lot of shit here. This is crazy. And also the way that, like, I don't know, it's like the ending where they're going through that office building. Now, again, that I don't know how many rooms that was in real life. Like if it was just 2 rooms, they just kept rebuilding the set. But like it was pretty cool. Like you're just like, whoa, where are they? And I like the way that I could always kind of tell where Chuck was compared to Rostov. Like that's tough, because I noticed that as action movies go on, I find it harder to figure out where people are in action films. We beat up the Bourne Identity all the time, and I'm gonna beat it up again. But like that movie is so overly edited, and it's like so quick paced that they have no confidence. This is where the filmmaker has no confidence in his ability to shoot action, where they've cut it fast or moved the camera so quickly that they're making the illusion of excitement, but it's just taking me out of the movie. This action draws me in more. It's not John Woo level, but like it's drawing me in more because I understand the locations of all of the characters involved and what's happening. So I don't know. I was very surprised. I'd seen this a bunch of times, but I rewatched it just, yesterday before, I thought, oh shit, this is pretty cool right now. Like I never really thought this through. So when I do my space thing, it forces me to think about these things more and make notes. So I was like, wow. So I really think it's a 2 out of 2. That might sound outrageous, but I actually do think it's pretty damn cool. The music's pretty good. It's serviceable, right? Like, and Chuck looks cool. He's in jeans and stuff, and look, it's an American thing, right? It's like he's the big guy in the jean jacket and the shirt and whatever jean top.
It's a Canadian tuxedo.
He's the Canadian tuxedo. And when they're destroying the elements, this is artistry too. They're destroying all of the elements that make America what it is. It's like hometown, Christmas, the mall, right? It's like they're systematic, and they're systematically destroying all these things to make it feel like, yes, the U.S. specifically is being invaded here. So I think it was really good. I don't know. I guess you guys, I don't know if you're all going to say 2 out of 2, but I gave it a 2 out of 2. We'll see where you guys are at, but I really liked it a lot. I thought it looked really cool. So.
Oh yeah, this is for me. It's a 2 out of 2. I think that final action scene, that battle on the city streets, is one of the best of all time. Like even when I was watching it the other day, I was like, "This is an incredibly excellent." Those are real tanks. And you got real helicopters. There's no CG horse shit or anything there. It's the real deal. And I was like, "God, I miss seeing movies like this." Like I haven't enjoyed a movie like that in such a long time. I don't even know the next time I'm actually going to the movies. But just. I love everything about this movie. I love the fact that it's in Florida and you see them riding through this. What do you call those boat things that go in the swamps? What do you call them?
Oh, the airboats.
Airboats.
Airboats. Yeah, I love anything with them in it. I think that's great.
The opening was great too. Like just the opening shots of him and all that.
Yeah, I love all that. And then just you like I said, the opening scene with that massacre is so shocking. It really establishes Rostov as just an absolute psychopath. Yeah, I would agree with everything you said as well, Jay. So for me, that's a 2 out of 2. So
awesome.
Charlie,
I thought I was gonna have to fight people on this one.
No, Jay, I don't think so. I mean, you guys have nailed it with like the opening segment. Everything in the swamp is fantastic. Talking about the suburbs, when you get the opportunity to literally blow up real homes and no one gives a shit what you do, I'm filming the whole thing. I would have had like 5 more minutes of me blowing up shit because you gave me a subdivision to explode. And I love all of that. Everything leading up to it, again, artistry wise, real squibs, real vehicles crash. I love watching these movies and seeing all the cars again. All these old vehicles we don't see on the road anymore. And they're everywhere. The brand new Nissan that's now probably damn near 40 years old, bashing and crashing through the mall, legitimately going through some type of mall, probably. A lady hanging off the side of the truck for a solid 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
She better have made more money than Chuck. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
She was the badass. And then the ending, you guys, the way I look at the ending is a straight up horror movie because Chuck disappears like Michael Myers and just magically appears like when Rostov's not even expecting it. And he is just stone-faced. I don't give a shit. Don't punch me. I don't care. I will destroy you. And then pulling out the rocket launcher at the end. You're just like, this is fantastic. It's a 2, guys.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's everything you'd want from an action movie.
Yes.
Straightforward action and, Chuck Norris doing what he does best.
This is pinnacle canon. As far as I'm concerned,
is. Yeah.
This is the high echelon of canon right now.
Agreed. Yeah. So, John.
What? I don't know what else to say. It's like it's all been said.
Chef's kiss.
I'm sorry.
No, sorry. So I will say that, like, going back to the neighborhood scene where they're blowing shit up, they were demolishing that neighborhood to build a convention center or something. So the town said, have at it. So they're like, Charlie, I'm with you. I would have blown like 10 more freaking houses.
Oh, yeah.
I would have been like, I'd be like, hey, can you get that one? Okay, how about that one now? Okay, how about, and then like you were saying, J-Man, how it's panning around, and then like it's haunting. Like you hear the one lady screaming for her kid. That's real shit. That's what you would be hearing when something like, not that I've been involved in any of that, but that's what I feel like you would be hearing after that. And like just the whole movie, you know, with the action set pieces. Again, this is 1985. So again, action choreography has got, for better or worse, it has gotten, you know, more extreme. So the action scenes and the sight of them running out of the terrorists running out of the building, and then you just see all the National Guard, and then the Jay Chataway's music's playing, and then you just hear the sound of them bringing their guns up, and it's you just hear that noise of simultaneously bring, and then you just see the looks on the terrorist faces, like, what the fuck are we gonna do? and then it's funny, the one guy, and then he looks up at the chopper, you see the one guy in the front, he starts shooting, he's the one idiot that's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna start shooting, and then everybody, and then you just see muzzle flashes, and it's real muzzle flashes. It's blanks going all over the place. And then you got the helicopter blowing stuff up. And then you got Chuck Norris in there taking care of the rest of the terrorists, which I thought was realistic because obviously he's a one-man army, but he's not going to take on 50 terrorists by himself. So I thought it was kind of neat how they brought the National Guard in, but he's kicking ass on the inside. And like you were saying, Charlie, he's like Michael Myers. Like even like when Rostov's walking around with the grenade launcher, you almost hear like horror kind of music when he leaps at him. And he comes at him, and it's just, and this is like Steven Seagal era Indestructible. This is when Chuck Norris, like, he bleeds a little bit if you see off the side of his head, but that's it. That's all you see through the whole freaking movie. He's like got a force field around him through the whole freaking movie, and like he's not the greatest actor, but he talks with his face, man. It's like. And you just, when he's beating up Rostov, he's more annoyed than anything. He's not afraid. He's just like, you know what? This is a piece of shit, and I just gotta fucking kill you already because I'm done with you. So can we give it more than a 2? Because
I want to get it up there.
Yeah, I'm like a 2. It's a 2. It's a 2 across the board. So.
You say he looks annoyed. He literally says, "I'm annoyed" in the movie.
Yes,
yes,
exactly. So.
And
practical effects, like Owen was saying, practical effects, practical cars, tanks, choppers. Like I said, I would kill. And there are some indie filmmakers that are doing it, but not at this scope. So you know, you got to be, you know, it's just, this was, and this is canon. This wasn't like big budget. This was like medium-sized budget, you know. Golden Globe they were spending money hand over fist, but you know.
This is one of the rare instances that they gave them extra money for the budget too.
Yes,
like they had saw the videos and went, "Here's an extra $2 million."
You read it, yeah. I was going to say that too. Yeah, the director Joseph Zito got a call and he was all nervous. Yeah, and he's like, "I love it. Here's $2 more million."
And I'm watching this going, the used car market's crazy right now. There's no way you're affording all those cars making a movie. I can't remake Invasion USA in 2022. That sucks.
And I will say one thing: the scene with the school bus of children when he takes the explosive, there's no way that thing would not have detonated before he put it on the car. Because if you see it counting down, it's like real time.
It's the fastest counter I've ever seen. It's just tick, 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 tick.
Yeah. And it's just like, but he still does it because why? Chuck Norris can stop time. That's why.
For sure.
Did I cut out there?
Yeah, you cut out for a second.
Yes.
But
Fucking internet.
I kept it going. No worries. I was flawless. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, John nailed it. We were fine.
So you guys were still here then, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's fine, right? Because we have this like windstorm and it's just been fucking with us all day. My internet there. I'm surprised you didn't hear me swear online. That's good.
We did just now, but
live TV.
That's fine. And swear all you like.
Sean popped in the chat there for, I don't know if he's still on. Hey, Sean.
Oh yeah. Well, says they make it so easy.
Don't they, Nico? Don't they? And like Nico's like Nico's his like is Rostov's like little angel on his shoulder. Like he kind of keeps him in line. So once Nico gets killed, you know, when Hunter makes him shoot himself in the head. Then Rostov is just the least is. He's like, bring them all in, because if Nico was still alive, he would have been like, no. But he wasn't there, so it was just, that was Rostov's downfall because he didn't have Nico anymore.
Yep.
Well, that's your segue right there, Owen. Right.
Sorry.
Right into characters, which is the next category.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So characters. I mean, I know we're all going to say 2 out of 2, so that's a no-brainer. But I will say that reporter woman is absolutely annoying as shit. But thank God.
Oh yeah, she should have died. Yeah.
But Chuck Norris is the best, obviously. But Rostov, this is a character I've never seen this before, and you guys can keep me honest on this one. I've never seen the main villain have nightmares about the hero.
Yeah, he's terrified of him.
He's terrified of the hero, and that's Charlie. You're like, he's Michael Myers. Well, it is. It's the role reversal. It's like Chuck Norris can appear anywhere, and Chuck Norris will kill you at any moment, and he'll return. Chuck Norris really believes in giving gifts because he always returns the bombs that these guys leave.
I love
so he's a good.
It was Christmas.
It was Christmas. Yes,
that's right. Yep.
But like, I mean, I can't. But like, the conversations that they have, he's like, oh, they're mocking freedom, and it's like, oh, they don't understand the freedom that they have, and they make it so easy and all this stuff, and they kill the couple on the beach for no reason other than to destroy teenage love, right? Yet another thing to destroy.
Miserable bastards.
Yeah, they literally made a list like, what's anything good in life? It's like, let's it's like there's just a bunch of people hanging out at that little side place, and they're dancing and singing and having some food, and boom, they gun them down. You're like, man. But yeah, like Chuck Norris is on fire in this movie. Like, he literally walks around and is unbeatable. I used to call it hit points because I'm a D&D player. So it's like the guy didn't even take any hit points of damage. It was like basically half a hit point. He got a little bit of thing. So he didn't lose any hit points in this movie. And Rostov is scared and has nightmares about it. I can't believe it. I've never seen that before. And Rostov is such a bastard, and the thing is, because he's so evil and scummy, and like when he goes to make the deal, what's the actor's name? Oh my God!
Drago.
Yeah,
Drago.
Billy Drago.
Billy Drago. Yeah, and the girl's like sniffing the coke, and he like smashes her.
Yeah,
he did
that
it before.
part still makes me jump every time he does it, man.
Me
It
too.
is insane.
Heath Ledger, Rostov did it first, baby. Lynch did it.
Exactly.
Lynch did it first.
and it was more shocking.
It was more shocking.
Yeah.
And he shoots. I always thought he was shooting them in the gut. I don't know how you guys got to the.
Oh no, he sticks the fucking what's it down his guy's pants.
Yeah, he puts it down the pants, but I was thinking he was trying to shoot like within like the groin area.
I think he was shooting the guy's dick.
He's shooting his dick. That's all there is to it.
Well, we're gonna call it that because that makes him more evil.
Because he does it again. So it's not just one time.
To his own guy.
That's his Mortal Kombat finishing move. That's like XXY up, and dick shoot. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The reporter's trash, but neat. Like, she's almost a non-character, so I wouldn't even factor her in that much. Like, Chuck Norris is awesome, and Chuck Norris is Chuck Norris, so that's what we've paid. Chuck Norris is like the John Wayne, right? Like, you're paying to see John Wayne be the John Wayne character that he plays. And people say, is Chuck Norris a good actor or not? I don't know. Can someone else play the role that Chuck Norris is playing? I'm not judging acting that way. I'm judging it by, I'm paying to see Chuck Norris do his thing.
Yeah. And he's a lead for a reason.
Right.
I mean,
like, getting into acting and all that would count, but the thing is, I think like Rostov is good. He's evil and he seems pretty scummy. I like that Nico, as Johnny, you were saying, like, he's kind of trying to rein him in. Like, okay, look, let's stick to the plan. Forget about this Hunter character. You don't need to worry about him. Like, they gave that guy a little bit of a character too. He wasn't just the yes man to Rostov or whatever. So I think they did a good job with what they had. So I'm giving it a 2 out of 2. I'm pretty sure now everyone's going to give it a 2 out of 2 because I can already see everyone's like, yeah. But anyways, officially 2 out of 2 for me.
Okay. So, and Sean says, I'll hit you with so many rights, you could be begging for a left. That's this movie, which is one of the best action movie lines of all time.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll cover all that coolness in the final category once we get to the final one. But, all right.
There's so many good lines. So,
think real hard.
I'm going to go with 1.5 for the characters.
wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because the reporter doesn't die and she deserved to.
Yeah, she's awful.
I hate
Yeah.
it for her. Like, she was just there to be the token woman in it, basically, because she had no purpose for it, really, apart from to magically appear everywhere something is happening. Like Chuck Norris, she happens to be anywhere where the terrorists are going to show up. And she's just so annoying. And she seems to give Chuck Norris attitude, even though he keeps fucking saving her and everybody else all the time.
Yeah!
What are you doing,
Yeah.
boy? Saving people's lives, bitch. What are you doing? So,
Yeah, she throws that thing at him too. Like,
Yeah, and-
Yeah. Oh god.
So yeah, because of her. But I think Rostov is actually one of my favorite underappreciated action movie villains. I don't think people give him enough love because he's just an absolute scary bastard. He's an absolute psychopath. Shoots people in the dick, smashing the woman's head into the cocaine was horrendous, and throws her out the window just to make sure.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, he's just blowing up a neighborhood during Christmas, and like there's kids in the putting up a Christmas tree and everything. Oh, you know what? Let's blow them up. I was like, you're an asshole. So yeah, Rostov is a great action movie villain. I also think Matt Hunter's good as well. There's not much to him, but who cares? It's Chuck Norris being Chuck Norris. So I think 1.5. I'll go with for that. So Charlie,
that's fair.
I'm Rostov, perfect villain as far as I'm concerned. Just didn't get enough love like we do with our Hans Grubers and all the others that just stand above all other. He almost stands above Chuck Norris as far as acting and his presence on the screen. Chuck is Chuck, man. I love Chuck. I don't care. He's a perfect in this movie. I hate the news reporter. She didn't need to be there. You never found out why she was at the dance dinner thing that's in the hallway, or the alleyway.
Yeah.
And there was one other thing that irritated me. I know it's not character driven, but they went through the trouble to make the people there be afraid of the cops. And I was wanting that to be something more like, they're going to like turn cops against people where they don't trust anyone. Nah, just these two cops got rocks thrown at them. The police chief confused me. Was that dude dying in this movie? Because he starts out fine, then they darken his eyes. Then they darken his eyes a little bit more, and he just gets more and more haggard as the movie goes.
He just can't take what's going on, I guess.
I get it's a stressful situation, but no one else looks that way. Chuck's just like, that's fine, I'll take care of it. It's fine, I'll take care of it. I think I'm going to go 1.5. After hearing what Eon had to say about it, I'm like, yeah, I think I might have to ding it just a tad, because there's really only two characters plus the right-hand man to Rostov. So 1.5.
Yeah. It's Rostov who's the real main interesting character of the piece. So the villain is the most interesting character in this movie.
Yeah.
The fact that they made him scared of the hero is something rare. I love that fact that he actually like has nightmares about the hero, which is just something new. So yeah, I love that.
And they killed Billy Drago off way too fast. If you're going to put that man in a movie with Chuck, I want more Billy Drago. Your name is Billy Drago. Just put him in there. Come on.
I forgot he was in it. I was stunned when I just watched it again. I was like, oh shit, what the hell? I'm like, wait.
No, I just want to go watch Delta Force 2 now. That's all. I'm going to go watch that.
That's going to be actually a future one. We're going to do a versus. We're going to do Delta Force 1 versus Delta Force 2. So I'm going to give them a watch.
That's hard.
I know it is hard, but my answer may shock you. But
no spoilers.
I know. So, John.
Okay, so I hear what everybody's saying, and then again, like I said, I see this is hard for me because there's a lot of nostalgia kicking in for me. Like I told you, my history with this movie. Chuck's Chuck. Like I said, I don't consider him a bad actor. He plays Chuck, and he plays Chuck well. What do you want? So he shows up and he delivers his lines and he kills people. Like at Rostov, I think once again I agree with all of you. He's the best villain, definitely best '80s. And I'm going to say better than Hans Gruber, because Hans Gruber didn't shoot people in the dick. Yeah, so, and at the beginning, when they come up to the boat of the refugees, not only does he kill somebody, but he takes the oldest man on the freaking boat and says, hey, and it just shoots them in the head. And then it's like, how much of a mother effort do you have to be to do something like that? Nico, I would have liked to have been fleshed out. I think they were partners. I think they were in cahoots with each other, because Nico kind of seemed to have a lot of pull, so I would have liked to have seen more of that. And I would have liked to have seen some more of the other terrorists, like Koyo, the Japanese or the Asian guy. I think there was more to him that was cut because he was more, because Nico made a point to say that Koyo was killed. So he meant something, but we only see him in like 3 minutes of film. And again, a funny story. I read this on the IMDb. Chuck Norris wanted Whoopi Goldberg to play the reporter. I don't know if that's real. Yeah, but that would have been a better movie. I mean, I don't think she would have done it because, like what she was doing, but well, I would have paid to see that because that lady was useless. No offense to whatever. Melissa Prophet's.
No, it's not her fault.
Yeah, not her fault. They just, she might have had more scenes. But there, I think there was more to the terrorists, and there was, like I said, a lot of character backstory was dropped. So I would have gave it a 2, but because of that, I'm going 1.5, just because like I said, it's a Chuck Norris movie, and he saves the day.
The Asian terrorist is actually James Pax.
That's Lightning
from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes.
So I'm like, you got that guy, and now he's just cannon fodder, basically.
And he dies so easily. He's like, "Do you have any ID?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he just reaches over and I'm like, "Come on, at least have a fight with the guy." It's like because he did some martial arts, so it's like, and that's the other thing. I wish Chuck would have done. Even the only real karate he does is this fight with Rostov at the end. I would have liked to, there's some here and there with hits and stuff, but I would have liked to have seen more of that. Just a little bit.
Yeah, he does. He does one kick where he's not even in the screen, but his foot comes flying up and kicks the one terrorist. Then it's just really karate with Rostov. Yeah.
So I got one.
I love the fight. Yeah, I like that final fight with Rostov though when he's in the office and like he's just like bitch slapping him around the office and then he kicks him or throws him over and he just like lands on his ass upside down.
And like Chuck is like this waiting for him. Like okay,
he's like are we fighting? What are we doing here? I like how one partition broke but the other one didn't. So he like head over end on the other one.
Yeah. Oh, here's Sean with another good comment here. Yeah. Didn't they gun down a merry-go-round, but they only show the aftermath? It's like they brainstormed images of Americana as fodder for the villains to attack.
I think that was something that was cut. I really do.
Yeah, there was more to that scene. Definitely.
Yeah,
because the scene was so gut-wrenching, even though they didn't do anything with it, but children died. So there might be some footage on the editing room floor.
But I think it works because the way, and we as much as we're talking like Chuck ain't a great actor, the way he sells it, where he's like, I can stop one, but 100 more are happening. So it's kind of like, oh, we can't even see all the, and again, it's happening around the nation. Where? Show me the rest of it. So I don't feel like it's 100 guys in Miami trying to take over the United States on a peninsula surrounded 3 sides by water. I just don't see how it works.
Or before they do this shopping mall scene when he comes over to give the guy, and here's another funny part. I don't want to take too long, but the guy with the glasses, that skinny guy who thought he was tougher than he was, like he would always be shooting, and they'd say stop shooting, he'd still be shooting in every single scene. It's like I just thought that was funny. The guy was a total idiot. Yeah. But like that scene where he gives him the package, you see the couple behind him. He's like, hell, they've been blowing up half the world. I'm just surprised it took them this long to come here. I'm like, dude, there's terrorist attacks going on. These people are just kind of chilling out at the pool like it's Spago. It's like, I'd be in my house being like with like barricades and like, wood planks on my windows. But they're just chilling over by the ocean. It's like, I always thought that was.
That's like they dropped the leaflets of the curfew and no one's on the street.
Yeah.
There's no one outside, but the police are throwing leaflets out the helicopters. I'm like, that's reaching no one at all.
They blow back into the blades again.
Like, I was waiting for that. Get it caught in the upwash.
It's like a Simpsons scene or something. Okay, so final one, JD?
I think we got one more.
Okay, so the E in space is just for enjoyment. So basically at this point we have to realize that movies
12
are there to be. Am I frozen?
No, you're good. Oh, okay, we're all laughing that it's way more than 2.
Yeah, it's 12 out of 2.
No, so I was gonna say
22.
Yeah, there's something intangible about movies, right? So I had to come up with something where you can raise or like increase a score just based on if you like it, because look, end of the day, whatever score you give doesn't matter. You're gonna buy this on Blu-ray or whatever and have it in your collection, or you're not. really all film review is binary. You're either I recommend this, it's awesome, or no, I don't like it.
Yeah.
This, we can break it down in whatever score you want. This section is, look, did you just think this was awesome? Just give it a 2. If you thought it was crap, give it a 0. If you still thought it was okay, you can give it a 1. That's it. Whatever. It doesn't matter what the reasoning is. The reasoning could be that Chuck Norris's beard is awesome in this movie, and I'm giving it a 2. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
So I'm giving this a 2.
Beards of the world unite.
Beard,
right.
Yeah, I don't have the full, but I got it. So I'm giving
I
it a
haven't
2 out of
shaved
2.
because of my surgery. This is 5 days right here. That's pathetic.
Beard.
5,
Look, look,
You're in, John. You're
Yeah.
in. We'll bring you
I
in.
have no hair on top either, so it's like,
Don't feel bad, brother.
Sean could
This
grow
is the
that
way.
beard in like 5 days or whatever. He's like, yeah. But yeah, so I'm giving it a 2 out of 2. My reasons is that it's awesome. Chuck Norris is awesome. The one-liners are great. The idea that the villain fears the hero is crazy awesome. Like missile launcher, quick draw ending. Like, I don't like, this is outrageous. It's time. It's time and all
It's
that. Right? It's like
time.
time to die.
Time to die.
Like that. I mean, Rostov is such a piece of trash. The destroying of like all of the things that make America great is like it's Invasion USA on like a new level, where it's like they're literally handpicking things like, okay, destroy that, destroy that, destroy that. I don't know. I think it's a kick-ass movie. It's canon. I always thought canon movies were actually good. I never knew that they were bad until I was like maybe 30. And
Stop. There's no such thing.
they're
Stop
not.
it.
I don't.
Yeah.
No,
stop
I-
it.
There's so many stuffy people who like don't watch them, and they
Yeah.
put my nose action movies and like fuck off.
Exactly.
Action movies
Yeah,
are awesome. It's the
I
best
didn't- I
genre.
didn't-
Everybody knows it.
Yeah, I never knew that. Like I never got the memo that these weren't that great. I'm like, well, okay. So
Yes, they are.
yeah, like I obviously this isn't as good as Die Hard, but like it's pretty damn good. I don't know. So I really like this movie a lot. I gave it a 2. Yeah, I mean, for all the reasons we've already kind of talked about. So
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm giving it a 2 because it is actually my all-time favorite Chuck Norris film. I absolutely love everything about it. Rostov is the best villain I think he's ever faced. And the action scenes are brilliant. Particularly, what really elevates this film is that final showdown on the streets, that battle on the streets, which is a sense of scale you just rarely see in action movies, particularly not anymore. You just don't. It would all be CG or whatever. But yeah, like I said, Rostov being scared of him, I love that. That's just a great idea. So many quotable one-liners. Like as Sean said, I'll hit you with so many rights, you'll be begging for a left. I love that line. So great. And I love the scene where he turns and speaks to the camera. And that's when everybody's like, it's time. I'll be standing over you and it'll be time to die. So yeah, love all that. So also, I love this. What kind of babbling bullshit is this? He always comments, this is my buddy. He just comments that random Under Siege quote every time. So,
Sean's giving his review. So 9 out of 10. Thanks, Sean.
9 out of 10 for Sean. Yeah, so
I like it.
2 for me for entertainment. To me, I think it's one of the best action movies of the 80s. I just think it's just awesome fun. And you guys said, oh yeah, 12-year-old me. Yeah, I'm still 12-year-old me in my head. It's still fucking awesome. So my opinion hasn't changed. And never
Look
will.
behind all of us. We're all 12 years old.
We're still 12 years old.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, is your bedroom changed? I'm like, no, it's still the same as whenever I was 12 years old.
Yep.
Sorry.
I still have posters everywhere.
Yep. So, all right, Charlie, over to you.
I'm just going to echo a little bit of what J-Man said. I was like, enjoyment wise to me is always subjective. I'm not a movie reviewer. Who gives a shit what I say?
Right.
Did I enjoy the movie? Abso-freaking-lutely, man. My gauge of a movie sometimes is how many times did I go, whoa, how many times did I make an audible sound? And that's when the hooker gets the Coke pipe up her nose. You're like, oh shit. When the security guard gets blown off his desk when they come for the armored vehicles.
Yes.
And the camera is behind him. Oh my God.
Yeah.
If you could play that clip later, look it up on YouTube. That's a real dude. That's not a mannequin. That's not a dummy. That guy goes flying. I love it. The chick hanging off the side of the truck. You're just like, how long can she hang on to that? That is insane. Automatic grenade launchers and rocket launchers. They never reload them. I'm just going to turn around and just keep shooting the same rocket launcher 5 times. And I'm like, where are the rockets coming from? I don't care. It doesn't matter.
It's action movie logic.
This has a stupid high body count, but I actually want to know more about the bullet count. There are so many bullets and blanks and tanks and everything in this movie. It's everything I love. So it's a 0.5. No, it's a 2. It's a 2.
It's a 12 out of 2. You're right.
It's a 12 out of 2. I give you no score.
Chuck Norris built the hospital he was born at.
Yeah,
Oh.
you can't call someone a bad actor when that guy is basically just in our pop culture. 100%. He had a cartoon. He has movies. He's spanned everything. So what?
And
He
he
can't
approves the
recite
action work.
Shakespeare.
So,
Yeah, whatever.
So I meant to actually have that video ready to play of him giving us the shout out, wishing me a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That's awesome.
So that was great. But you can find that on our YouTube channel, or
seen
maybe
it.
I'll post it on the site below. So John.
Again, John's like, what do I talk about?
All right. So okay, totally. But once again, this was at the time where I started watching Sho Kosugi and Chuck Norris films, and there was born my love of action. Lone Wolf McQuade was my first Chuck Norris movie. I remember watching it with my dad on HBO when we were in the living room. Then he took me to see Invasion USA, and the rest is history. Chuck Norris is Chuck Norris. He's the one that got me into action movies. He's the one that got me into the martial arts. And the whole movie, and we've touched on it. I'm just going to reiterate it again. Epic scope, sense of scale. And when you cut out, I was talking about how this isn't a big budget motion picture. This is medium-sized Canon film. They had money, but they didn't have Warner Brothers money, So for what they did and what they had it's just phenomenal. And the ending, I can't say enough. I shared it today when I was watching it. I put it on Tubi. I was like, I gotta watch this again because I was too lazy to go get my copy. But he just comes. You just see Rostov with the grenade launcher, and you just see Chuck Norris come through, and they start playing the music. And he doesn't even say the full line. He just says, "It's time." And he says it in slow motion. How fucking awesome. And then Rostov is just like, I'm fucked. Well, anyway, he starts screaming. And not only does Chuck Norris shoot him out the window with a fucking law rocket, he does it from the hip. He's like, I'm not even going to put it on my shoulder. I'm fucking Chuck Norris. I'm going to just take this and just shoot it from my hip. And then he just throws it down. Credits. It's a 2. What can I say? I have nothing else to say about this movie.
Yeah, that's awesome. The man has his own action genius.
And
that's true.
I gotta thank my wife. This was totally by accident. I'm wearing denim. I didn't even. I gotta tell her. I'm like, honey, it worked for what we were talking about.
I searched everywhere for a denim shirt tonight, man. I was like, I'm going full on, but blue was close enough. I can do the blue.
She bought me a bunch of these because, like I said, I have to wear button downs because my arm is immobile. And and this morning she's like, "How about this one?" And I wasn't thinking, I have a disorder. I'm like, sure, but I'm like, it works out.
Touched by the Chuck. It was meant to be.
It's like he's not dead, but it's like his essence was like, here, wear this shirt, John.
He is the Force. That's all.
Okay, so I've got everyone's thing, and I kept Sean's score as well.
Okay.
I can't remember mine, so good thing you wrote them down.
Yeah, in fact, you did the same here, yeah.
So by this method that I use, just think if every category got a 1, right? That would be a 5 out of 10. Mm-hmm. And a 5 out of 10 means what it is, which means it's an average movie. This idea that, when people give I'm giving it 7 out of 10 as though that's like a bad review. Most movies that you watch should land between a 4 and a 6, right? Because look, if it's a half decent budget movie, a half decent acting, you got a couple of good characters, you might give it an average score for everything, you get a 5 out of 10. You might ding it, you might get a 4 out of 10, say, I didn't enjoy it that much, but it was okay, so it's a 4 out of 10. So 4, 5, 6 out of 10 means a pretty good movie, and most movies that you watch should score between that. When you start saying 7, 8, 9, 10, that's where, that's very special in its genre, right? So I'll tell you what you guys scored it, and then you tell me if you feel that is accurate to what you would have said if someone asked you without doing this system, okay? So,
makes sense.
Owen, you gave it a 9 out of 10. Does that sound fair?
Yep, I would agree with that. Yep.
Like if we didn't do this stream and someone's like, "Hey, oh, and fucking Invasion USA, well, what is that? What do you think is that? Is that 9 out of 10?" You'd be like, you'd say 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I was very tough on it, but I'm a bit more of a nerdy guy. I went to film. I did go to I took film courses and stuff, so I'm a bit more anal. So I gave it an 8 out of 10, which I think is really good for me. Charlie, you gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
I'd say that's probably accurate.
You
Yeah,
think that's pretty
I think
accurate?
so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then John, you're giving it basically a 9 out of 10.
Can I go higher? I'm sorry.
So where you dinged it a bit on story. You took a half point off for story, and you took
did.
Yeah, and a half point off for characters. So
Yes.
the characters, your idea was that the reporter was a bit irritating, so that was one aspect of the characters that sort of took you out of it. And the story, I suppose you want a little bit more with Nico and
That's fair. That's
so
9
does
out
that
of 10.
sound fair to you? 9 out of 10?
I can accept that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and we're very close. You see how close we're like.
Oh,
when
yeah.
You actually talk it through, and you're actually being fair. I can't stand when people are like, "Oh, it's fucking 2 out of 10" or something. It's like, where did you come up with 2 out of? Like, if you give
I
a
hate
2
that.
out of 10,
You'll get me on a long tangent talking about that because
Yeah.
I've had to argue
No.
with people all week long because the reviews I've done lately.
yep,
I watch
Yeah.
movies where I want to see shit blow up and people get shot, and that's what I got. And I reviewed it like that. I'm like, this is what I wanted to see. And then there's
Right.
like, this movie is horrible. I'm like, shut the hell up. I'm like,
That's why
this is-
I tell people I'm not a reviewer. I'm going to tell you what I like, and I'm giving
Right.
you a number so you can gauge. Because I can tell you I like Invasion USA, but if I tell you it's a 8.5 or a 9, you're going to be like, you really, really like this movie.
right.
Yeah.
So
If
that's
you
why
like-
we put a number to it. Yeah.
right.
If
yeah,
you like this kind, like
if
you say.
exactly.
Well, they could say they could say we're biased. Like for me, I know I'm biased. Like I said, because
Yeah.
of my history with the freaking film, I don't care. I mean, that's a lot of movies. By the way, it's like we'll do more movies. Are we doing more Chuck Norris movies down the line? Wait till we get to Delta Force, people. It's like, oh, shit.
Well,
That was my first R-rated action movie from my
Was it?
dad.
Yeah.
That was Delta Force was my first R-rated.
I
it was
remember-
mine. I think it may have been one of mine too.
I remember when Delta Force was coming out. I'm like, my mom took me to see that one.
Oh my God.
I'm
Your
like,
mom's badass.
Well, my parents. I gotta thank my parents. They instilled value in me, but they're like, you know what? These are movies, and my son enjoys them, so I can't get him to them by myself. So you
There
know,
you go.
sometimes
There
when
you
there
go.
was nudity, my mom would be like, "Oh." Of
That-
course, I was 14 at the time, so I was
Yeah.
like this. I was like,
Oh yeah, boobs.
my mom took me to see Miami Blues. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
I've seen, yes,
And
yep.
there's nudity in that. She's like, "Oh, cover your eyes." And she's like, "It's like it's too late." It's like,
My mom never did that. She was she's like, yeah, it's a women's breast. Okay,
Yeah.
deal with it.
You can watch the decapitations. That's fine. An exploding head, but no nudity.
I can see all of that. I didn't know there was dirty jokes in Predator till I was like 16 or 17, and I watched it on my own. My dad was so good with the mute button. He's like,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah.
Or go get me something to drink out of the fridge.
Yeah.
And I watch it one time uncut going, holy shit, where'd that come from? I've never heard this before.
Yeah. I'm just going to go a whole bunch of
Yeah,
comments
well,
here.
I
I
got
particularly
what
like
you said.
Sean's comment here. He said, I wish they released the Shokasugi ninja movies with the option of including the Ninja Theater TV intro.
Yes.
Or show
Oh,
fights
yes.
ninjas
Yes.
and backyardist training. Those were the days.
Yes.
Those were indeed the days.
Oh,
They should do a good collection or something. Like,
Michael
Yeah.
Dudikoff Action Adventure Theater. I remember him
Yeah, I
coming
remember
out,
that. Yeah.
sitting down in movie theater booth like he was Gene Siskel, being like, "All right, here's what we got a shitty Italian action movie for you people, but you know what? You're gonna love it."
Right. What a story ever had any impact on a Chuck Norris movie. How dare he? Yeah. So Red Dawn or Invasion USA? Invasion USA. 'cause
Invasion
that's-
Oh,
USA.
Yeah, I would say
hands
down,
hands
hands
Although I am working up to we'll do a versus of the Red Dawn original versus the remake. We obviously know what's going to win, but I think it'll be fun to do
Right.
anyway because I've never
I'll
covered either
surprise
of
you
them,
with
so-
mine. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the new one actually. I kind of just
Really?
skipped it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's enjoyable. I mean,
Oh, yeah?
it is. It's not Red Dawn original, but I found it enjoyable.
Here's
And
my
Chris
secret
Hemsworth-
shame. I saw the remake before the original.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, see, I would like to have. I didn't have that. Of course, I saw the original in the movie theater. Damn, I
Yeah.
would have.
Oh wow.
That's a
I've seen the
different way to
original. I don't countless times, but
I'll have
I
to pick
like
your
the
brain
movie.
about that one. Oh man.
Eye for an eye gets a few scores knocked off for a mustache. That's
Yeah,
not.
he
Yeah, it's a
needs his
disgrace.
beard. He needs the
Yeah.
beard.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
like clean shaven Chuck Norris.
no. It's like I don't even like seeing photos of me without the beard. I'm like, who's that guy? It's like, who's that egg? So I'm
My
like,
wife has never seen me without at least a mustache, so that's it.
as it should be.
I think
Absolutely.
that's grounds for divorce if I ever shave the mustache off.
So yeah, so Invasion USA is my personal favorite Chuck Norris film. I think there's a few that are way up there. Lone Wolf McQuade is way up there as well. I love that movie. And then the Delta Force movies. So like there's a whole bunch, but this is way up there. However, I wanted to bring up the point that Matt Hunter, of course, would return in Avenging Force with Michael Dudikoff playing the same character, which is also awesome. But which is better? No.
What, Invasion USA or Avenging Force?
Yeah, Invasion USA versus Avenging Force.
I
Invasion
talked to
USA.
Sam Furstenberg, who did Avenging Force, and I take points off Avenging Force because I know it was supposed to be Chuck Norris fucking started that movie at first. No offense to Michael Dudikoff. Michael Dudikoff, sorry. He crushed it, but, in terms of action and sense of epic scale, Invasion USA. Not that I don't love Avenging Force. I want people to think I don't love Avenging Force. I love Avenging Force.
Well, they've totally disregarded the fact that it was supposed to be a sequel. They've now let it.
They did. They just kept his name.
Yeah,
Sam
that's it.
said
That's
yes.
the only similarities.
Sam said all they did was keep his name, and that was it. So if you didn't know anything, you'd be like, "Oh, his name's Matt Hunter."
His name's Matt Hunter. That sounds like an action name.
I like to think that, like, even though it takes place in the same time frame, that it's kind of like a prequel. Like, this is young man.
There you go. It's in the multiverse of Chuck.
Yeah.
That's all there's to it.
They had great villains in it as well, though. Like Matt Hunter faces off against some great villains because they're like neo-Nazis.
Yeah,
and they were once again evil. And you had, of course, John P. Ryan, who was in Delta Force 2 as well. That was the president. But in this, he is in maybe the best scene of a movie of all time. At the beginning of Avenging Force, he is standing in a tree wearing a mask, smoking a pipe. Why?
Awesome.
When they're hunting a guy for sport, like that's Lamar.
And then when he kills the guy, he's like, he starts yelling for his guys, but then he's like, ah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Why are you yelling like that? They hear you. It's like...
Jay,
I bought Avenging Force on VHS. Like, I used to go and just buy random VHS movies, and my buddy and I, we'd go and buy like 3 or 4 movies, and I'd have a large pizza and a 2-liter Coke, and we'd watch like 3 or 4 of these martial arts ninja movies, whatever. And we watched Avenging Force and one of the ninja movies, the cheapy ones. I can't remember. Not Shokasugi, like one of the. Like,
is that the one where they put the white guys in with the original Asian?
Yeah, it's
movie?
like a Richard
Godfrey
Harrison
Ho. Yeah.
It's one of the Ho. Yeah,
New York Ninja.
I actually have. I actually have all of the Ho movies on a drive. I was able to get them all. There's like 100 something. I've got all of them.
There's that many of them.
There's 100. There's 100 something. I've got
Richard Harris. I love Richard
Harrison.
Harris.
Yeah, Harris.
You watch these movies, it's like all these Asians, and there's this big white guy, and I'm like, what the frick's he doing in this?
He filmed for a few months, and he's in 100 movies.
And they just spliced them in.
Right, but Avenging Force, we're like, wow, because we loved Michael Dudikoff. The first VCR I bought, I recorded 3 movies off of TV, off of Marathon, and Sean will know this, and I don't know if Owen you would know, but City TV had a marathon, and I recorded Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja Through the Domination, and American Ninja. They had all 3 back to back, and that was the first tape I recorded of TV. And I didn't realize that 6 hours meant 6 hours, and I thought, oh, I should record maybe 10 minutes beforehand so I don't miss, because I didn't know how to record.
Oh.
And I missed the last 10 minutes of American Ninja, and I did not see the last 10 minutes of American Ninja for 10 years till I bought a VHS copy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But anyways, I love Avenging Force. I'm going to say this. I think Invasion USA is better than Avenging Force, but I don't know if I want to say
I've watched Avenging Force more, which is
yeah,
funny.
really? I think I have too.
Yeah.
And you know what? I did not know
no
that was
idea.
Matt Hunter until just now. because
Oh, really?
to me, Chuck Norris is Chuck Norris. He's not a character. I don't think of his
He's
name.
always Chuck Norris. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Chuck Norris. Like I didn't think his name was Matt Hunter, right? Like I don't
Well,
know
they
why.
barely say it. The
Yeah.
one girl calls him cowboy 90% of the time in the movie.
Yeah,
Is his name
yeah.
You know,
Cowboy?
Yeah, cowboy,
Well, he should've just
cowboy.
been-
Yeah.
He should have just been called Chuck Norris in all his movies.
He's
It's
Chuck
Chuck.
or whatever.
Chuck Norris.
Like
That's it.
Jackie's called Jackie and and when they dub him in English, they always call him Jackie in every movie he's in.
Yeah. I watched Bleeding Steel today, actually, which everyone sort of dumped on. Actually, I thought it was all right.
I liked it.
It's Jackie Chan. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Not
Yeah,
CG, but
yeah. Apart from the CG, but the rest was pretty good. Yeah, Lone Wolf McQuaid. Chuck Norris drives a pickup truck out of his own grave. That's all you need to know. Yeah.
And drinking a beer.
Drinking
It's
a
like
beer.
drinking a beer at the same time. I need to get motivated.
And yeah, because actually Alex posted this first year. Lone Wolf McQuaid taught me that a truck once buried in dirt can actually drive out if you give it enough gas.
Of
course it can.
course.
Everybody knows that.
Well, it's like
science.
in this movie, his truck's damn near bulletproof the entire time he's running through the mall, down the highway, everything.
Doesn't even get a scratch. I think he gets like a mild scratch there. But
He
that's probably
gets
when
he gets a
comes out.
small scratch, and that's it. Just adds character. That's all.
That's all it is. Yeah. Avenging Force, The Octagon, and Reform School Girls.
I've got all three of those movies right
Of course
now.
you-
Like, they're all, I got Reform School Girls. They just did Vinegar Syndrome just to release.
I saw that. Yeah,
You saw that?
I did.
Vinegar Syndrome are the best.
They're the best.
I love it.
Oh, I
I'm
just
going to get
pre-ordered
the
Cloak
Talons
and
of the
Dagger.
Eagle. I've still got to order. I just got to get
Oh,
this car
I
repair
know.
done next week, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to get the Blu-ray of that, as they
Yeah.
must have.
I miss martial law. I'm so upset, but I got it.
Yeah,
in
so,
the house.
I'm
I'm gonna keep
I'll
checking
keep an
to
eye out
see
for it.
and let me know, and I'll order it ASAP because I pre-ordered Thriller. 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 That's the one with the one eye, the girl with the patch on her eye.
Yeah.
They call her One Eye or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I pre-ordered that and Cloak and Dagger, the old Dabney Coleman.
That's a good one.
That's
I
a
like
great
that.
because I had to upgrade my DVD. Yeah, see Sean C TV. Yes,
There's
the
also
great movies.
the
That's
old
what it
great
was. The
movies
great
where I
movies.
watched many
yes,
Hammer
yes.
horrors and spaghetti westerns. from
Yeah,
there.
that's it.
That was
That's what I'm
before my
talking about.
time, sadly, because I only moved here in 2006. So
Yeah, so we used to City TV used to do great whatever, and they would do like it would be like 3 or 4 Gamera movies, or it would be Godzilla, or it would be the Toho King Kongs, and then they would do Ninja Nights or whatever. So whatever it happened to be, so they did like a Ninja Night. And it was the 3 ninja movies in a row, and they did Nemesis, which part
I
one is
love the
obviously
Nemesis
great.
movies. I love those movies. I don't care.
Oh my god!
I
but
love Nemesis, man.
Have you seen part 5? I have not seen.
Yes.
I got it, but I haven't watched it.
You don't have to. Just you can say you own it. That's good enough.
nobody's going to ask you about it. So
No one's going to ask you about part 5.
that'd be the best day ever. So, have you seen Nemesis 5?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, we're reviewing that in a week or two. It'll be fun.
So I blame Andy Starrs for my carpal tunnel. So next Friday I'm actually working from home, so I'll be able to do another show then. So what will we discuss next week? So I actually, although I want to continue with Chuck Norris, I am wanting to find an excuse to talk about Above the Law with Steven Seagal, because I know
Let's
I
do
just
it.
had an anniversary. So I say, so next Friday, you guys up for some Seagalogy?
I'm always up for Seagal.
Okay, so I this is not a lie. I don't lie. Just as a general thing, Owen, I swear to God, I was gonna watch Above the Law before this stream.
So was I. I wanted to watch it today.
Okay,
Strong
were you watching the Jesse Enkamp 24 Hours with Seagal on
Yes.
YouTube?
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah. It was
I
like-
watched it like 4 times.
Our next action podcast is I can't get it on the camera.
Yeah.
That's it.
Above the Law.
Oh my God, that is so weird.
So it's, we're all, what we
That's
call it.
so weird.
Yeah.
We have to
The
do
action
it now.
community, we're all connected mentally. It's the force is strong
Right.
with all
That's
of
how
us.
it works, man.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
just
cult.
strange.
It's a cult. It's fine. We're fine with it. We have no
Yeah.
problem being in a cult.
This is the action way.
Yeah, let's do Above the Law. That's genius.
Okay, so we'll
I'm down.
do some Seagal next week then. So you may have noticed that Franklin has become hide and seek champion of the United States, but he was having so many technical issues, so he's going to join us on a future show. Maybe he can try for next week. I'm not quite sure what had happened there. He was on his phone and wasn't able to get on, which is frustrating for him. But he messaged me on Facebook there. So sorry, Franklin. We will have you on again.
I missed you, brother.
Yeah, nothing personal. Swear.
We can't control the internet.
No,
That's
I know. I
obvious.
mean, it even kicked me out as well. So,
It did kick you out. That was
yeah,
funny.
outdoor adventure school. Yeah, but we have this crazy storm. It's so windy here. Like, I don't know if you've been able to hear my door is like
I
rattling.
haven't heard anything.
And like I've had to close all the windows and everything because it's just been crazy windy all day. I haven't been able to go outside. Blew my
really
dress up
windy.
and everything. You know, so, I don't know.
I went out for a walk and that was like brutal. Like it was just whipping around. But...
Yeah, it was crazy. A few nuns flew past.
Nico.
Nico.
I always think whenever I think of
Subliminal
Out for Justice,
being is working.
Out for Justice is always Gino.
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 I was saying,
His accent in that is just
nobody
spectacular.
upstairs. Yeah.
Bobby Lupo.
You see Richie? Anybody see Richie?
Yes.
I gotta come back here until somebody see Richie.
Yeah. You guys don't think too good, huh?
Yeah.
Hear me out.
Invasion
Invasion
Hellbound.
Hellbound.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay,
discuss more details.
Well, you say that, but what's funny, when you guys asked me to be on this one, it was Chuck. So my very first podcast episode, we decided to do Delta Force because it was my first action movie that was R-rated. So when we started the horror one, I'm like, I have to start it with Chuck. We did Hellbound. So we did it with Chuck. And now this is my first time on a YouTube channel and I'm doing Chuck. It's
But not the last.
not the last, but it's always centered around Chuck, man. I love Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, man.
Oh yeah, no, well, we're going to do more. Like I said, we'll do the Delta Force ones. Also, I've heard people talking shit about Silent Rage recently, and I need to give that a watch because I remember thinking it was awesome. So we'll talk about that soon too.
Oh, you get into that and the Hero and the Terror, and there's some
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
movies
Those
that they've
pretty
done
cool.
that people need to think about. Like Hellbound is goofier than shit, but Chuck Norris kicks the devil. Period. That's all I need to know to go. I'm going to watch that movie,
Yeah,
and I'm
so-
probably going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Which, spoiler alert, I did. So
Well, that was my idea behind saying what's the promise of a movie. Like I always go back to, I don't know if you guys know Night of the Demons.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
the poster is Angela. I've actually got the poster, but her
it's a
poster,
fantastic poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's holding up the invitation. It says, Angela's having a party. Jason and Freddie are too scared to come. And I watched the commentary on that movie, and they literally say the guy's like, look, this is the poster. If you look at this poster and think, wow, this looks great, then this movie's going to deliver on everything you want. And that's when I
Yes.
started to think, like, this is what the movie's promising you. So if it's telling you Invasion USA, Chuck Norris like this with the Uzis and all that, it's like, okay, you got that. You know what I mean? And did they do that to the best of their ability? Yes, they did.
100%. Yeah.
So that gets I mean, it's not Raiders of the Lost Ark, which did it the best, right? Did their
But,
concept the best, but it did
like
its concept pretty
yeah.
damn good.
Like you said, though, you can't compare that. Like I've got a couple friends of mine that'll be like, well, if I gave Alien a 10, I can't give any other movie a 10 unless it's comparable to Alien. And I'm like, it doesn't work like
No,
that.
it doesn't. Yeah, I was saying that last week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because people are like, how could you give that 3.5 stars and you give this 3 stars? Because they're different movies.
Totally different. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then
Alien
how
is
much
10
it,
though.
yeah, how yeah, it is. That was the argument. It's like I can have multiple 10 movies.
For sure.
Now the hard question is now rank those 10 movies. I have no idea how to do that. And I shouldn't have to, because if I tell you it's a 10, that just means I love it. It's perfect, and that's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, doing rankings is. I mean, my favorite movie is Conan the Barbarian with Schwarzenegger.
Love it.
After that, I do have a top 10, but it's like I tried to pick the best of every genre. So I've got Road Warrior, I've got Superman, I've got Planet of the Apes, I got Escape from New York,
Yeah.
I got Flash Gordon, I got 12 Angry Men, which is a black and white classic film. I tried to take one of every genre and try to Empire Strikes Back. So it's like that's like kind of my 10 right there, right? And it's like it's just picking a 2001: Space Odyssey. There,
Yeah.
that's my 10. So
Well, a buddy of mine made the perfect kind of analogy to it was you get to take one movie to a deserted island.
God,
That's the
no.
movie you're left with for the rest of your life. That will tell you your top movie pretty quick. You know,
Conan.
I still don't know if I could pick it because I just watched Invasion USA going, I think I could enjoy this for the next 30 years of watching it.
Owen, what's your desert island movie? Raiders or Die Hard?
Oh, Raiders. Raiders is actually my favorite film of all time, probably.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the one I've seen the most. There was a period there, I've seen this to someone recently, where I would watch it once a month just like, all the time I was watching. I think it was like when I first got it on DVD, and I just loved everything about it. I loved the character of Indiana Jones the way I used to love the character of James Bond until
Who's
recently.
James Bond?
Yeah, it's that guy who no longer exists. And yeah, so until they kill Indiana Jones next year in the 5th movie, and then I'll be like, okay, fuck Indiana Jones, because it's just like, let's see how many heroes we can kill off.
The only person I'm looking forward to that is Mads Mikkelsen. I know he's in it, and I know he's
Yes.
going to kill whatever he does in that.
Antonio
role.
Banderas is in it too, actually.
Is he in it? I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
He should be L, Maria. He should be L.
It's whoever's not in Expendables 4 is who's available for the other Indiana Jones
Yeah.
movie.
One thing we haven't mentioned actually is the director of Invasion USA, Joseph Zito. And he
Zito.
also directed Missing in Action and Red Scorpion. And Red Scorpion is one of my top Dolph Lundgren movies.
I got that on Blu-ray. I got that on Bluray
Me too.
last year. I love it.
Oh, we'll
Love
do that
that
one
movie.
soon then, do because
Oh,
I haven't watched it
God.
for a while and I need an excuse to talk about it. So we'll do that in a few weeks. 'Cause
Yes.
we haven't talked about a Dolph movie yet, have we?
I got my Dolph.
Really? You haven't done
No,
like I Come in
I
Peace
haven't.
or anything like that? Oh,
No, I don't think we have. Yeah, see, we got a lot of shit to cover. So yeah, I think that's
fantastic.
so.
That's my Dolph autograph right there. You can't see.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
It. Yeah, on He-Man, of course, because He-Man is.
I got
I
Sam
got to
Jones.
talk to him, so that's all I get.
Dolph Lundgren was one of my heroes. It's like my favorite character. It's like Punisher and He-Man. That's my childhood favorite character and my teenage
Yeah.
favorite character. I'm like, this guy's playing everything. And then he was in Aquaman. He was great there. But like, I love Dolph Lundgren. He is the best, man. And
He-Man was my first introduction to Dolph. I
Same.
mean, that's
Yeah.
that's the
Me
first
too.
movie I saw with him in it. I loved it.
Rocky 4 was mine, but
Oh,
I
Rocky
interviewed
4
him.
was great,
I
too.
interviewed him last December for Castle Falls, and I'm surprised I got through the interview because I was just like, Dolph Lundgren,
Right.
yeah, Dolph Lundgren. That's all I was. I don't know how I got through. It was only 10 minutes long, but I'm like,
But still, it's a fantastic 10 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, pretty legendary. Yeah. So, I love that Chuck is undercover as a CBC news reporter in Delta Force. Canada represent. Yes.
See,
There you go.
Canada.
Totally Canada.
Yeah. What about the perils of Gwendoline in the land of the Yik-Yak? What?
What is
You know
that?
what? I've seen that movie, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm gonna have. That sounds like something I should own. Hold on, I have to look it
Yeah.
up.
You need a
Yeah,
poster
look
for
that up,
ASAP.
Jay, man. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Is it if it's schlock or exploitation? I definitely need it.
It's exploitation.
Oh, I need it.
Oh, so
okay.
I love
Oh,
that.
I've got it. Yep, I'm looking at it.
It's got women in prison fighting each other. Purchase.
My buddy, a friend, mutual friend of Owen and I, he is the champion of women in prison. Like he is the champion.
I didn't know there was
has
a competition.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
left
I want
out.
to join this competition.
Yeah, no, he has them all, man. He's the Reform School Girls. Like that's like his top 10 favorite films of all time. Like I'm
Oh,
like
man.
Citizen Kane. Is that in? No, Reform School Girls. Okay.
You know, there's Citizen Kane here. Come
Yeah, I've seen
on.
Citizen Kane twice, and it's not in my top movies. And I'm like, well,
I
how
do
many
love
people get
Citizen
punched-
Kane though. But
Yeah, but how many people get punched in the face? And,
I can appreciate good movies, but when
Yeah.
you tell me, oh, it's like, oh, the King's speech and all this blah blah blah, I don't care. How many people
Yeah.
die? How many
Does it
people
have Chuck
blow
Norris
up?
and his beard?
Right,
No, then I don't care.
exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm pre-ordering. I'm gonna order this Gwendolyn thing. This look. I have seen this cover before. I'm definitely getting it. Short round, yeah, short round.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed they haven't sort of brought him back already. I mean, I thought they should.
I want to watch this Everything and Anything or whatever that
everything
crazy
everywhere all
title.
at once.
Yeah, I want to watch that. I'm curious about that movie.
Yeah. Is it out in theaters only, or is it out on digital?
I think
'Cause
it's
I'm-
theaters only.
It's
right
not
now.
digital, I can tell you that. I didn't get
Yeah.
screener for it or anything, so I'm like, all right. I
I'll
did
wait
the
until
trailer,
digital.
but-
I think the only thing I'm going to go see, I'm going to see The Northman this week. That sounds awesome, the Viking one.
That's
Yeah, it's
getting
getting
good reviews right now.
So I'm going to try and see. That'll be my first time in the movie since Batman. Hopefully this is shorter.
That was the last one I did. I was going to go to Morbius till after I saw like everyone dogpiling on it. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'll
I
wait
went to
till
Morbius.
streaming.
I
So
saw-
I saw
yeah.
Morbius. By using space, I gave Morbius 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I remember
So-
Stephen
so
gave it a good
decent.
review, and he got a bunch of abuse in the group for it, and everyone's like, "Fuck his review!" Typical Facebook.
Yeah. So Steve and I saw it
What is up with
together,
that?
and he did he give it higher than me? He gave it maybe a little bit higher than I did.
3 out of 5. Yeah.
3 out of, so that's a 6 out of 10. So he gave it the same score. Look, this is not a shit movie. It's an okay movie.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
6 out of 10 means you watch it like that was okay.
It was watchable.
It's
Yeah.
watchable. That's it. Like, why does everything have to be 10 or 0? This is what I don't get. If
Yeah.
you don't say the Batman is 10 out of 10, you're an idiot. If you don't say whatever is 0 out of 10, you're an idiot. Like I don't work that way.
No.
Most movies should get between 4 and 6, right? Unless
Yeah.
it's really trash, right?
There are bad movies out there. I mean,
Right.
they really are, and I steer clear of them because I don't watch the Hallmark Channel. But you know, but
those are
no,
kinda awful.
it's subjective, and I don't get why people get so much hate about it.
No. I mean, the problem is whenever you run a website, as John can attest, although he's just disappeared, you get so much shit from people whenever you're doing reviews or whatever. Like, I hate giving things a star rating. Like, I wish I'd never given the star rating on the website, because as soon as you give something a rating, then it's there. And be like, oh, why did you give this that rating or this that rating? And I'm like, I don't know. Look, this is how I felt at the time. But then sometimes I watch a film again and I'm like, oh, can I change that rating? Because maybe
Yes,
I'm in
you
a bad
can.
mood or a good mood that
That's
day.
the
And
thing, though. You
sometimes I
can
do.
change
Yeah.
that rating. Sometimes I'll give a rating just to piss someone off. If my
Same.
co-host is like really shitting on a movie, I'm already marking it up 1 or 2 more than I really probably would have given it.
Yeah.
And that's the fun of it. Who gives a shit? It's a movie. Enjoy it. Or don't. I don't care.
Exactly. I mean, like, I ban people on the Facebook main page all the time, because like as soon as people get abusive,
You got to ditch that, man.
I'm like, I'm not
you can't do
interested.
that.
Like, I don't even argue with trolls or anything else. If you're a dick, you're gone. That's
no.
it. So you can disagree by all means, to say I actually didn't like this a little more. I did like it. Here's my reasons why. But I mean, I get people commenting all the time. Oh, fuck this shit. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, that's really well rounded and eloquent review there. Well done.
Exactly.
Norman.
A lot of times it'll be like, I'm going to mute you for a little bit, and if you don't realize it, you're banned when you do it again. Because we don't have the numbers you guys have. I could only imagine dealing with the thousands you guys got, but trying to rein in the like 20 people that interact on mine, it's like, it's not too bad, but every once in a while somebody will get unruly.
Yeah.
I
mean,
also-
continue.
I was going to say, I wanted to mention too that my rating using my thing doesn't necessarily reflect the way I feel about something either. Like, for example, if I give a movie, like, I'm hypercritical. I'm a superhero mega nerd, right? I still read comics today. I go every Wednesday. I go Tuesday because I get them a day early for Marvel. So I go every Tuesday. So I'm hypercritical. Like, I gave The Batman 5 out of 10, and everyone's like, you're insane. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I bought all the toys from Walmart. I have all the action figures, the Tom McFarlane figures. I bought the Batmobile. I bought the soundtrack. I bought the art of the movie. Right? I'm gonna buy it on 4K. It's like, did you do all of that? No, I watched it and thought it was great, right? It's like, okay, so my 5 out of 10 translated to more money for the Batman than you,
Right.
So it's like, you can argue with me, but I buy everything. Like, I buy every superhero thing there is, even if I think the movie is. I bought Batwoman season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's okay.
That's unacceptable.
I don't know if you should have admitted that live on YouTube. But
Speaking of
no.
the ban button,
yes, but everyone knows that I'm a collector. I need to have, it's Batman. I need to have all the Batman stuff. I don't care. And I didn't even open Batwoman season 2. It's sealed. I just put it in my collection.
You also kind of want to make sure that there's going to be another movie. You want to see the continuation of the story. Even if you only gave it a 5, maybe the next one's a 7. You don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I want it to be good, right? It's like I'm always giving it another chance, right? It's like, I checked out a Star Trek, but everything else I've still tried and tried. But yeah, so we're not, just because like Owen's giving a rating or whatever, like he gives his rating, that doesn't mean he's saying it's a god-awful piece of trash movie or whatever. It's like, you still might get it. Like, I gave Invasion USA 8 out of 10. Yeah, but I bought it. Like, I mean, 8 out of 10 is high for me, and I think it's a great movie. And if someone asks me, I'll be like, hell yeah, you got to watch that movie.
Yeah. Our rule when me and Dad would watch movies and rent movies, if the critics hated it, we immediately went and watched it or rented it. Because I don't care what anyone says, Waterworld is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie. But the critics hated it. It got shit on. Everyone made fun of it. Screw you. I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. I bought Super Mario Brothers on DVD last year.
Yeah, me too.
Screw everyone that doesn't love that movie. I love it.
In the theater too.
And everyone coked out of their brain in that movie. It's fantastic.
But that was like Cutthroat Island. I did a piece on that the other day, and initially started off as a Sue Me article, because I watched this movie and I was like, the fuck are people talking about? This movie's awesome. And I was like, this is
is
incredible action scenes and stunts and everything else. The music is amazing.
I got the soundtrack.
Yeah, the score is one of the best scores of the
The
90s.
score,
And
yeah.
it's like, and I said in the article, people love negativity. People love to be negative about things. And
Yeah.
people hated these movies before they're even out. It's like Waterworld, The Postman, Cutthroat Island, all these movies which were sort of ambitious and had a big budget and were different. Then people were like, oh, fuck this movie. But you see, you should get this book. Stephen got me this for Christmas. It's called,
Yeah, he told me.
Okay.
yeah, Fiasco: A History of Hollywood's Iconic Flops. And it talks about like Cutthroat Island and Waterworld and everything else. And it's fascinating. But
I'd watch it.
I hadn't seen Cutthroat Island until recently because all of the negativity surrounding it. I was like, the film's going to be terrible. Why bother watching it? And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a chance. I watched it and I was like, okay, why is this get dumped on, but the crap Pirates of the Caribbean movies get good reviews and they're entertaining for like 10 minutes of the first movie, and then the rest fucking terrible. And I was like, this is better than that. I'll watch that over these movies any day. So yeah, I thought it was great. Waterworld I enjoyed as well. I got the 4K, which I've actually got review ready to post this week. Not really worth getting in 4K because there's no special features. It's just got the 2 extended versions of the movie. Go for the Arrow Blu-ray instead. So yeah, there we are. Were you about to say something, John? You look like you're about to say something.
Because just what you were saying, yeah, like I think major critics get paid to have sticks up their asses, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
Okay, it came once again. It came out that Bruce Willis is suffering from a neurological disorder, like I am, and Owen we had known for a little bit, and it was crushing me to hear him take so much shit from people, and I was one of them until I found out. Because at first I was like everybody else, like he was just sleepwalking to get a paycheck. I get it. But then what was actually happening? And then this happened to me. So I've been reviewing his movies and like they all have zeros on the tomato meter, the Rotten Tomato bullshit, whatever that is.
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't
come
even
on,
listen to
man.
that thing.
It's like I just watched The Day to Die, which stars Frank Grillo, which Frank Grillo can star in a soap opera. And I will fucking love it because he's great fucking Grillo.
I love Grillo, man.
And this movie Heat? No. I mean, Heat's got some problems too if you watch Heat. I mean, it's a classic,
Al Pacino's
right?
terrible in it.
Yeah. But his shit blew up. Frank Grillo acted like Frank Grillo, and there was a shootout at the end. So I'm like, and I had this guy come up and tell me, I'm like, how do you rate Bruce Willis movies so high? I'm like, you're a fucking moron. Get off my goddamn sites. It's just like it's like that's why when I've talked to you in the past, I hate to do reviews, but you do them because that's part of being on the site.
The people want it. That you just kind of have to do what people want.
And I've been told that I'm like one of the most respectable action reviewers out there. I'm like, thank you. I'm like, I didn't start out to be like that, but I just call it how I see it. And if I like a movie that nobody else does, I'm gonna fucking say so. And I'm like,
right.
I just don't. Yeah, like you were saying, Cutthroat Island. I went to see it at the movie theater, and I loved it. I have it on DVD. I don't have money to like upgrade all the time with every single movie that I have. But yeah, Matthew Modine, you can take it or leave it. With Matthew Modine.
It should have been Michael Douglas because he was initially supposed to be in it.
Yes. But like you were saying, like I can't stand the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And I think Johnny Depp's freaking annoying. You can't hear what he's saying half the time. Yeah. It's like
he's funny for like 5 minutes, and then you're like, okay, I get the joke.
It was good. He had the best entrance ever, but it's good for a while. But then it was just, it's making money. Let's just keep printing that money
like
over.
The first movie they did with him, like. That's good, but then they did it again, and then they did it again, and then they did it. But then going back to Cutthroat Island, you can't. Those action sequences, they're just like it's like they spent $10 on everything else and spent everything else on the set pieces to that movie. It was phenomenal, and I remember when it came out, and like people were just bashing it, and that's where I started questioning myself. I'm like, do I know what I'm talking about when I'm like watching a movie?
Yes, because you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It just builds. It works positive and negative. Like there's just positive hype where people are like embarrassed to say they don't like it, or they're embarrassed to say that they do like it.
Well, people don't want to get dogpiled on.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I hate. Is you don't get it.
if like going back to Bruce Willis again, just because he's a good example right now. It's like everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Like it's a shit. Now, of course, are there shit Bruce Willis movies that he's done lately? Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not just because he has a neurological disorder doesn't mean if I. Like Owen, I hated Apex. I watched that movie even with Neil McDonough in it. I was like, this movie is horrible. That's like, and was it Bruce Willis's fault? No, it was the people that made the movie's fault.
Yeah.
But then his last few movies, Gasoline Alley with Devon Sawa, and now Day to Die. I compare Bruce Willis. Of course, he's retired now to Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal in his older years, they're putting people around him that can do the action, and that's kind of what they were doing with Bruce Willis. They put people in the movie that could carry the movie because now we know what was wrong with Bruce Willis. But those are good movies. Like I watched Gasoline Alley. Devon Sawa crushed that movie what he did with his performance in that movie. Loved it. Now I just felt like the action at the end. I was like, of course, I'm an action guy. I'm like, I needed a better shootout. But other than that, I was like, But yeah, it's like. People that write for these big, and that's what crushes me. It's like we are the movie lovers. We who, I'm nobody, but I started a website because I love movies. So same as you, Owen. Charlie, you do a podcast because you fucking love movies, and you tell it how it is, and it's just like people don't get it. And I've told Owen in the past, I feel like quitting, Owen. I feel like quitting. I feel like stop. Because every time I do something, it's just negative. And I'm like, I got enough negativity in my life where I don't need negativity from anybody else.
Right.
It's like just be positive and talk about movies. Yes, you can not like a movie. I get it. But don't tell me, and people out there know who I'm talking about. Don't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I give my reviews and I give my reasons why I like the movie.
I don't know, but that was fighting words that just popped up on the screen. You didn't like Muppet Treasure Island? What the fuck?
The Muppets.
Sean's like a Muppet purist. He's like a Muppet purist.
Tim Curry, man, come on.
Muppet Christmas Carol is my favorite Christmas.
Every Christmas we watch it. I love it.
My wife's not a big Muppets fan, but I grew up with
we grew up with the Muppets, man. Yeah. That was it. Love it.
How do we get into talking about the Muppets?
Somebody put way off track Muppet Treasure Island because of Cutthroat Island. Actually, I think it wasn't too long that they came out from each other either. I don't think.
This is why I love this show.
Tip, John and Owen, I can get, and Charlie too. I don't know if you need the tip that I use, because I'll post a video and then I'll get a comment saying you're an idiot. I literally got a comment saying you should never do videos about X-Men anymore. Yeah. So I just responded to that saying, it's like, thanks. I've thought long and hard about it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and continue doing videos anyway. But normally, if someone says I'm an idiot, and I've had ones that are so long telling me how stupid I am, and I just send them the invite saying I'm going live this Saturday. Come on the show. I'll invite you on to tell me I'm an idiot. No takers. I've been doing this for years. No takers. No takers.
Look, I'll know I've made it when I get the haters like that, because I will read it on the show. I'll post it. We're like begging for any kind of email. We don't care.
I should save mine, but going back to what J-Man was saying, he's like, I thought long and hard about, and it's like, and I respond to him like, thank you for following me and thanks for reading. That's what I respond with.
You got the click, you got the view, you got all of the algorithm that you want, negative or positive.
Yeah.
You're just feeding the algorithm, guys. Yeah. Period. That's it.
Oh my God.
I'm living in there 24/7.
That's right. And I go right to sleep at night. It doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, let's see. We've got a rant here. Treasure Island seems too puppet show and shot too stagey to be compared to the first 4 Muppet movies. The Muppets are real people in those films, which I like, at least to me.
I told you, Sean's Sean's Owen and I's friend.
That's badass Muppet right there. He's a badass Muppet.
He's like the intellectual one. He'll be like,
you think J-Man overthinks things?
Oh yeah, if you think I overthink things, oh boy. It's like, no, if Sean and I both agree, then no one can beat us.
I just get past, yeah.
But like, he's very purist.
I see like J-Man's like other videos. I've gone on some of his, and I see how he responds in other ones. But you're in my group too, and I see your name pop up, and I go, oh shit, what's Jay? oh, he's kind of calm and reserved today. All right, not in my group today.
If I'm trolling I actually enjoy getting trolled and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
But they never show up to when it counts on the streams. I need them on the streams. And I've had people tell me I'm an idiot, and you can like Sean's on there and they're like, you're an idiot, you don't know anything. I'm like, okay, because I like, I'm like, I'm good with fighting with people because I think it's all a big joke and it's all fun. It doesn't bother me at all. But I've been a nerd forever. I think some people who are new nerds, like I was like D&D, like freaking Redbox, like old school. And I remember when heavy metal used to be a nerdy thing almost. It was like horror movies.
He's not
were
wrong
nerdy.
about that. I'll give him that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last few indie films have sucked.
Yeah.
They were bad. No.
But like, I mean, yeah, going back, it's like, because I was a nerd from like day one in school, like I've got t-shirts of me with Superman and He-Man. I had the Superman cake.
Dude,
I like all this stuff.
I had that same rant we just recorded last night. I had that same rant of all these people are like, oh, I loved comic books growing up. Bullshit. No, you didn't. You made fun of me because I had an X-Men t-shirt or because I had comic books. Fuck you. You weren't a fan. I don't give a shit what you say now. I love Star Wars. No, you didn't. Shut up.
Hold up your collection. I've got the black, I've got Secret Wars, the whole thing. Like I've got the first black symbiote, like black costume Spider-Man. Not bought it for hundreds of dollars. It was like $2 or whatever. Like,
yeah, we got it from the Dollar General or the Kmart.
Like you picked it up off the rack.
That's exactly how we had our collections.
I mean, behind me, I got the original VHSs of the Star Wars trilogy. Like,
me too. I've got them right there. Too.
No THX, no extra bullshit. Just there's the VHSs.
Yeah, no special edition.
See, that would be my island movie if they'd let me bring all three, because I call all three one movie.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
when people ask me what my favorite movie is of all time, I would say the original Star Wars trilogy, because me and my brother Ed, we were like obsessive Star Wars nerds, like where we watch all these YouTube videos like Star Wars Theory and everything, and we just love watching these guys talking.
Yeah.
And like I used to think I knew stuff about Star Wars until I watched some of these channels, and then I'm like, who?
These guys go deep, man.
Yeah, all the comics and the books and everything, and I've got like shelves of books, like Darth Bane trilogy and stuff like that. I mean,
I've got the expanded universe stuff. I've got all the comics from that now that it's not canon, whatever. But I've got the novels. I've got a giant box of novels. What's a comic book? Exactly. It's not digital. Oh, look, I can read my comic on my phone now.
It's a graphic novel.
That was the best you could get, and we liked it.
Yes. The Trial of the Incredible Hulk. We got Daredevil. We got all that great stuff, man. It's like we had Avengers before they were Avengers, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've kind of gone way off topic.
Where are we?
Chuck Norris.
Hey, I'm just excited to be back. So if I seem like I wanted to go all night, I'm sorry, but
you're good, John. We're glad you're up and kicking, brother.
As everyone was sold, it was released on parchment. Yeah, Jesus himself was in it. So
you had the instant tapes from Spaceballs. It comes out before the movie's finished.
When is now? Now is now.
Yeah.
This is what's happening now.
I'm surrounded by assholes.
So anyway, so I think next week we'll do Above the Law, or Nico as it's called in the UK, because that's what I knew as growing up. It's funny, when I tried to buy it here, I was like, why can't I find this movie? And I was like, what's Above the Law? And I was like,
it's because it didn't have 3 words in the title.
That's
the Steven Seagal thing.
You should have known, Steven Seagal is Above the Law, Steven Seagal is Under Siege, Steven Seagal is Out for Justice,
Marked for Death.
Marked for Death.
I want to talk about Marked for Death at some point as well, because that's one of his best too.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, everyone, please like and subscribe. Follow Charlie's page, his podcast. You want to tell us just a little bit about that?
Yeah, we do a weekly podcast. Give me back my action movies and give me back my horror movies. It alternates every other week. So we're on Podbean, Spotify, everywhere. I post up in Owen's page all the time. So if you're on there, you've seen my posts. And we've got a Facebook group. Give me back my action movies and give me back my horror movies. Thanks for having me on here, guys.
Anytime. Hopefully I'll have you on next week then for...
I'll be here. We're doing Seagal. I'm here.
We'll have Sean and see if Stephen wants to come on as well, because I'm with them for a while, so I don't know how big a fan of Seagal Stephen is or not, but we'll see.
Steve's mom is like the Seagal fan of all time. She has every movie.
That's right, because he gave me all of the DVDs, which is awesome. Yeah. All
I
right.
enjoy his later movies. That's how bad I am. I'm like, even if they suck, I'm watching them.
There's something to enjoy in
Even
any
Black Dawn, where he walked off the set and half of it was a stunt double too.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, everybody like and subscribe. Follow John Jerva and Action Flicks as well. There's a Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter.
YouTube.
I think he has an OnlyFans as well, where he does webcam videos and does dances and stuff like that. So that's definitely one to check out too. And on that note, we will see you next week. Bye.
It's time.